Hey y'all. Welcome back to the SharionSade channel. I was about to say podcast because that's how I usually start off my podcast episode. Can one person let me know if y'all can hear me okay? Oh, thank y'all so much for showing up. I had to move it back. I forgot to put my chicken in the oven. And if I didn't, my Cornish hens, and if I didn't put them in the oven, then I wouldn't have dinner when this was over. And so I had to hurry up and put them in. Oh, hey, Annie Bullard. Thank you so much for letting me know. Okay, so y'all can hear me okay. Thank y'all so much for being here. I hope you are ready to talk about With Love, Meghan. I am so excited to talk about this. Have y'all all watched it? Or how far have y'all gotten in the show so far? Oh, no. Oh, wow. Okay. Joyce Vose said, hi, Joyce Vose. Joyce Vose says, hello, Sharion and everyone. I watched all 8 episodes. I know that's right, Joyce. Loved all of it. Can't wait to make the one pot pasta dish. Yet I'm so excited about that. Will be by the jam, teas, and honey. Yes, I'm so excited. So this actually got me even more excited for whatever products As Ever is gonna offer. So I know it will probably be linked to this. I think that's what we've read so far, but we don't know much. And that's kind of how I like it. Like I said, I like to have the rollout work in my favor because I like to experience it the way that it's intended. Sorry, y'all, if you can hear my dog sneezing. She's having a little allergy attack. But I want to experience it in the way that it's intended. But honestly, I can already tell I'm going to like everything. So I feel like one of the main things that I took away just overall, we're going to get into the specifics, but one of the main things that I took away was that there is a great level of detail into every part of homemaking, or at least the parts of homemaking that we saw. And that also includes entertaining, family time, friend time. We got a lot of friend time. I was a little surprised we also got stuff about skincare. Like, you genuinely can't put this show in a box. And I love that. I feel like a lot of it was very much like what we anticipated. We got a lot of sneak peeks, and that set me up and set up my expectations. But one thing that they nailed was not giving us too much, because we had the owner and founder of Tatcha on there. We talked about Meghan sending Tatcha to Oprah Winfrey, and it ended up on Oprah's favorite things list for Christmas. And so it was really cool to have her come on and talk about skincare. And turns out they've been friends for a really long time. And I mean, really good friends. I love the story of the founder of Tatcha giving Meghan a recipe, and then Meghan turning around and making that for her and her mom. I was like, how sweet, but also what a little cycle of love. I just thought that was so cool. But we're going to get into the details. I don't want to skip ahead. But there is a lot to take away. Hi, Paula Newman. Paula Newman says, ooh, I like your profile picture. Paula Newman says, I want to make that chicken. Yeah. Oh, okay. The chicken looked good. All of it looked good. But when they showed the chicken and the music and everything, I swear it triggered something in my mind where I was like, I want Korean fried chicken. Like it was just the perfect little scene, like the way they slow-moed it coming out of the pot, and the way the grease was dripping and it was glistening. Oh yeah, that chicken had me. I love fried food. I'm from the South. I love fried food. Now here's what's funny. Meghan told that story about when that man, when she was at work, and I think she was a or she had tried to be a bartender, and the man was ordering something, but he had like an accent, and she was like, he wants a cowboy martini, and we don't make that. Turns out he was saying a Kettle One martini, and they were like, we're gonna put you back on coats on coach. No, it'll happen. I tried to be a bartender once at Boomer Jack Wings. I lasted one night. Let's see. Oh, wow. Hi, Olivia Johnson. Olivia Johnson says, I have watched all 8 episodes. Nice. Is there anything that really stuck out to you? Is like the one dish or one moment that you're really going to like lean into, maybe even try to replicate? Let me know. Okay, good. So the newsletter of the products came out today. I have been only watching the show. I haven't tapped into anything else. So we have a lot to catch up on at the end of the week as well. Thanks for letting me know. Ooh, hi, Corlita Simon. Corlita Simon says, I love the decoration music. Yes, I loved all of that, but it was a lot of really fun, energetic music. I was really into it. They really put a lot of intention into every aspect of the show. I didn't even intro myself, y'all. I'm sorry. So today we're going to be talking. I got right into it. Today we're going to be talking about With Love, Meghan, but we're only going to be talking about it from the first impressions perspective. Tomorrow we're going to start our episodic recap of each episode and like who was the guest and what they made and the stories that were told. We're going to start our recap tomorrow, but today, and you're welcome to join and start today, but I'm going to actually start recapping tomorrow. But today I really wanted to talk about just the show overall, like the first impressions, the feels, anything that stood out to you. Let me know. I have 2 segments today. So that we can, again, try to have a little bit of organization. Because as you see, if I don't have a segment, I'll just jump right in. We just got started. Yes. Hi, Narose. Narose says, it was so inspiring. Yes, it definitely... It got me excited about the creative stuff. Like, I love creativity and stuff like that. And if you've done the same thing over and over and over, sometimes you can kind of get into a little rut. So shows like this, where other people are being creative, it absolutely puts you back in that mind space. It is so helpful. This was really good. You could actually see every single dish, every single scene, every single person was personally connected to Meghan in some way. And even with Mindy Kaling telling the story of Meghan just texted her and was like, hey, I'm going to be making a show where I'll be cooking for my friends. Would you like to join me? And she was like, absolutely. And so it was very casual, but you can tell that it was very much Meghan driven. It was amazing. And very much about, not even about her, but it was centered around like her interests and these stories that involved her. It was very intimate. We got a lot of information about Meghan, but we got to know her in a different way, I think. Now, I feel like most of us knew that she likes to cook, that she was a foodie, of course. Most of us knew that she was great with like presentation and hosting. That has always been part of what people have said about her. But this was my first time really seeing her in action. I know people who were fans of the TIG when it was up and running, they saw a lot of that too. And she used to, oh my God, she used to do a lot of interviews. And in those interviews, I've seen her talk about presentation, but I've never seen it. So this was really cool to see her prep. We saw her gift wrap, make a balloon arch. Now, one thing that I thought was so interesting, you can't say mama don't work. Almost every episode, Meghan talked about a different employment experience and how that has led into the things that she's interested in or the things that she's good at today. I was so impressed with the fact that she taught a gift wrapping class. She's had some cool jobs. We know that she was a calligrapher. She taught a gift wrapping class. Like, what? A coat check girl. And, we'll give her credit. She was a bartender for a little while, but she was a bartender. But she's had a lot of experiences. And those have all played into the things that she's good at now. And one thing that I'll also say, a thing that I took away from the show is Meghan is really good at teaching people things, and that is a skill. That's a skill. I told you I was a corporate trainer for like 6 years, 6.5 to 7 years. And you have to learn how to be a teacher. You have to learn how to train. Even if you're good at something, you might not be good at teaching it. And I would train people and train trainers. And that is absolutely a skill that must be learned, because teaching people things requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of guidance. It requires a lot of show and watch and repeat and watch and practice. And some people are really good at things, but they're just not good at teaching it. And something that I picked up on immediately is when Meghan was leading and teaching a recipe, she was so patient and so good about showing what she wanted to happen, demonstrating, and even being really patient when things went wrong. That was something I picked up on right away. What else? Back to her teaching, something that I noticed too, when she was walking people through, she was very thorough in explaining what should happen. That's all you can ask for when somebody teaches you something. Have you guys ever been taught something? Oh, sorry, I left your comment up. Have you guys ever been taught something or learned something and the teacher is like impatient or just not good at teaching, and you're like, oh my God, I know you know what's going on, but the goal is for you to get me to know what's going on. And I have started new jobs where the people were so impatient because I wasn't picking it up right away, but they weren't demonstrating, and they would just kind of tell me. Also, there are several types of learning languages. People learn in different ways. Some people learn in several different ways, but more often than not, people have a primary method of learning, whether it's tactile, kinesthetic, audible, visual. Everybody has kind of a main one or two. Now, a good teaching tactic, which I saw Meghan deploy, is to demonstrate all types of teaching tactics so that however you learn, you will pick it up. Because what's great about that is if a person is an audible learner, meaning they learn best by listening, great. She was explaining and being very thorough. But the best part about that is by demonstrating, having them practice, having them watch her, having them, work through it, you're reinforcing what someone already knows. That just helps you to retain it. On average, people have to see something 7 times for it to be permanent in their mind or for them to remember it. And so by working through every type of teaching style / learning style, you're almost guaranteed that they will walk away with it. And it's great to revisit that a day or two later once the information has settled. And that's something that I noticed about her, is that she went through every step by explaining it, demonstrating and showing, helping them to practice, which can be difficult. Sometimes when people want to practice, they just mess it all up. So guiding them into practice and then letting them do it on their own, thoroughly explaining what the expectations were, and then being very patient and gentle as she walked them through it. And it's only about food, of course. So it's not like they were learning a new job or a new skill or whatever, but it's those moments that really help bond you to people. When you can teach someone something and you can be present when they learn something new, especially something that they're going to take with them or something useful, you're part of their story. And I feel like more people should take that really seriously. So it's not a surprise that she has not only been really great at making friends, but she keeps her friends for a long time. Every step in the process of making friends and keeping friends, she's a very present person. Something I also appreciated was she allowed us to see her with long-term friends. And then we also saw her make new friends. And she even said, I love making new friends. That is an area where I'm not that great. I'm not that great. I used to be really outgoing, and now I'm not. I just, over the years, I've come across some really, really, really unkind people, and it's just made me less apt to just walk up to people. I need a long time to feel people out before I really let them into my world. But it was nice seeing her just get to know someone new and discover all those things that they, Roy Choi, discover all those things that they didn't know about each other that they had in common. And even at one point, they were like, we should have met a long time ago. I thought that was really cool. I'm not great about making friends, so that kind of gave me a little bit of a you can try again. Go back out and make new friends. I have the same old friends forever. But it would be nice to make some new friends. I make friends through book club, but that's pretty much it. And we only talk about book club. Well, book club, you can't talk about book club. Okay. Hey, NoVD. NoVD says, I have 2 episodes left. Nice. Now I'm going to have to keep rewatching them because I watched them for a first impression, but I will have to go back so that I can do my recap so I can be thorough. But I really enjoyed it. And that's actually going to be a labor of love. I'm going to really enjoy rewatching these. Now, I definitely want to make that one pot pasta. That looked good. That looked real good. I mean, clearly Daniel Martin cussed. As soon as I heard that cuss word, I said, let me write this recipe down because we cussing. Oh, that must be real good. Oh my God, that looks so good. Hi, Patricia Nixon. Patricia Nixon says, I want to make the cake. I love all 8 episodes. Nice. Oh, yeah, that cake looked good. Now, here's my thing about cake. This show made me want to try some different cake because I am a vanilla cake or white cake, yellow cake with the chocolate icing, or a chocolate cake type of gal. Chocolate cake with cream cheese icing. I rarely venture away from like my core 4 or 5. This show actually got me excited about maybe adding some new things to my diet, like trying new things and being a little bit more open-minded. The problem with me is when I go anywhere to like a restaurant or whatever, I order the same thing. And the problem is because I don't eat out a lot, I cook a lot. So when I go somewhere, I want to get what I know I love because I don't know when I'm going to get it again. And then when I leave, I'm like, that would have been a great opportunity to try something new. I've been to Capitol Grill 100 million times. And I get the same thing, the 2 beef tenderloin and twin lobster tail every single time. I've never gotten anything different. And I go there so often that on my birthday, they email me like, you coming back this year? Which location are you visiting? Because I'm trying to go to all of the ones in the US. But I should try new things when I go places. This show actually kind of made me kind of revisit that. Like, you can always just go back and get what you like. And if you eat something and you're not a big fan of it, go ahead and get the thing you love to go. Why not? So we'll see. I should be a little bit more open-minded. I feel like this show overall was kind of a lesson in being more open-minded, trying new foods, meeting new people, trying new experiences. I feel like Meghan was preaching to me. I feel like she was like, now, Sharion, I done seen you wear them same 4 hairstyles, wear them same 6 shirts, and eat that same 2 dishes. You need to open your mind. This was all about me, y'all. No, I really do need to switch it up. Hi, Joyce Vos. Joyce Vos says, the newsletter was sent out today of products she will be selling. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to be looking that up, and we will be going through each item. Nice. Okay, I think I've clicked on some of the same ones. Let me get down here. Hey, Joyce Vos. Joyce Vos says, I love all the music on the show. Yes. Yes. They picked some good music. And you know what? It was really joyful. Several times they mentioned joy, but the music was very energetic music, very feel-good show. Okay, so I have our first segment of my first impressions that I recorded right after I finished the last episode. So I immediately recorded my first raw thoughts, no notes, no nothing, just straight off the dome. So it's not going to sound put together like normal, but I definitely want to give the most authentic first impression. Keep lighting up the live chat, and then I'm going to come back and we'll continue the discussion by reading comments and responding. Can connect to or even interested in. If it doesn't feel good to look at it, if it doesn't feel good to watch it, if it doesn't sound good on your ears or in your environment, you're not going to give it a chance. And so I wanted to talk about how With Love Meghan made me feel at first glance. First, I have to talk about the color grading. Beautiful. That is something Netflix gets right every single time. Their lifestyle content is some of the best. And it's really hard to rival lifestyle content with HGTV. And even E! Entertainment has done a little bit, is a bit too much on my eyes. And sometimes I have to turn down the brightness because it can be a lot. My TV is humongous. You can thank my husband for that. And because of that, if there's too much white and it's too bright, it gives me a headache. So, one of the things that I look for in my shows is, does it feel good to just simply rest my eyes there? And I felt like With Love, Meghan had a wonderful balance of white space, mostly off white. I noticed that there were very few bright white things, whether it was the countertops, the cabinets, floors, whatever. Anything that ever designed this, either they are like me. Maybe they have an astigmatism. Maybe it's too bright for them too. Maybe they have a huge TV at home, so they know how that translates. Regardless, whoever made that decision, smart. It wasn't too much. I also appreciated how the things that filled the space were not cluttered, but it wasn't empty. It didn't look like a movie set. And I think the best idea, whoever had that idea to film this in an actual house rather than set up a set, that was the best way to go about it, because that decision translated very well. It felt good to look at in my own space. I don't know if that makes sense, but it felt good to look at in my own space. Sometimes when you're filming something, I'm sure in the moment it feels good while you're in that environment, but then when you're actually watching it in different environments, it's like, oh, that doesn't really look good. This show looks good. I also want to talk about the sound. Whoever picked the music did a wonderful job. There was not just one genre of music. There wasn't even just one tone or one type of music. I absolutely loved how each moment was slightly defined by the song choice or the sound. And that was a very intentional choice. There's even one moment where the sound is simply bird song outside of the window. Something that Meghan mentioned is some of her favorite in Me Too Girl. There are two sounds that instantly ground me. Birds singing outside of my window, because I grew up, in the little country. Birds singing outside of my window, and the ocean, because I lived in Florida for 8 years. And those two sounds ground me. And I got in a habit of meditating at sunrise on Delray Beach and South Beach for years. And I loved it. And it's become part of my meditation routine. So now that I'm back in Texas, it's been a little difficult to find something comparable to that when it comes to meditating. So I'm still on my search. I'll let y'all know what I find, but I will say Texas has some amazing lakes, has some amazing trails. My favorite lake is Lake Caroline in Las Colinas. Las Colinas is so amazing. So I've been going there to do a little meditation, but it's not the same, but it is its own type of special. And so I say that to say the sound is very important to how it looks and how it feels. First of all, if you have pets, this is something you notice when you have highly reactive pets. All of my terrier owners, you can relate to me on this. I feel you. I'm in the struggle. If your sounds on whatever show you're watching are triggering, your dogs will let you know. And even if they're not barking or whimpering, they'll be excessively active. Like my Schnauzer, he's 14. And if something is too triggering to him, he will simply trot around on the wood floors for as long as it's on the screen. And I think that's his way of saying, if you make me listen to that, I'm going to make you listen to this. Game on, heifer. And he squares up with me and he always wins. He's mama's boy. But the sound is very important because it has to feel good listening to. Some sounds can even give me a headache if I hear it too much repeatedly. And I just felt like the music in this show was so nice and calming and relaxing. Several times Meghan mentioned things, whatever, it helps grounding is bringing you into the present moment. And a lot of things can help with that. I've learned a lot of different techniques, but one of the things I'm most responsive to are light and sound. And so when I'm watching a show, and I think that's because I'm 37 now, because when I was 21, this did not matter. I could watch anything. But now at 37 years old with 2 terriers, if anything sounds off, if it doesn't fill the space in a good way, whether it's humor or just feel good, it's really hard for me to sit through it. So I was immediately impressed with not only the sound and the color grading, but also the music choices. There were moments where I was just bobbing along. I've also noticed that Netflix loves the song. I don't know the name of it, but I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. That song, first of all, millennials, hey, we know that song. That was always at the little kids club. But whenever Netflix has a show or a movie, they play that song in almost all of them. One of the most recent was Resort to Love. No, not Resort to Love. Falling in Love with Christina Milian. And I think it's Adam Demos. That song plays and it's like complimented what was going on screen. So production quality. Oh, also everything was really glossy and beautiful. And that is a big deal to me. I love that. I also wanted to point out the dialogue sound of everyone speaking. They had, again, this is one of those things as I've gotten older has just become a big deal to me. The speaking volume of everyone sounded so nice. I'm one of those people who cannot stand when one scene in a show is low and then the next scene is really loud and it's too much. This show, I was able to just keep it on as I was on. I watched this while I was on the treadmill. I watched it while I was on the stair climber. I watched it while I was washing my hair. I watched it while I was preparing dinner because I did my prep at 1:00. I watched it throughout all of my activities, and at no point did I feel like, oh, it's too low or it's too loud. So, I mean, it's those small things that really do make a big difference. So, my first impressions of the show itself, sans content, just the show, but also once you've gotten through your several watch throughs for to just take it all in, I highly recommend this becoming one of your shows because it's going to become one of mine that you put on to fill the space in the house. Because I spend a lot of time at home alone because I work from home, I go to school, and I go to school remotely, and my husband works out of the home most of the time. So a lot of times it's just me and my dogs. And I like to have noise in the other rooms. I had a very busy house growing up, so sometimes too much silence makes me nervous. Hey, anxiety, didn't see you come in. So I like to have noise in the background. It also helps me to study or focus when I have a low hum. This is an A+ knockout piece of content, project, whatever, to achieve that. So if you just want noise to fill the house, whether you're having people over and you like to have something on the TV, I know I do. I like to have something on the TV kind of low, just in case they want to focus their attention there for a second. This is perfect for that because it's fun, it's friendly, it's energetic, but it's not too excessive. It's just the right amount of everything. Less is more. And I feel like that translated into the production. So that's my thoughts on the first impressions of With Love, Meghan. But share your thoughts in the comment section below or in the live chat. What were your first impressions as far as the look, the feel, the volume, the sounds, the color grading? What did you think? Was there anything that stood out to you that you feel like they knocked out of the park? Or is there anything that I missed that's a very important element to watching content or feeling the energy from a content? Is there anything that I missed? Share that with me and let me know what you thought was A++. Okay, I'm back. Yes, so those are my first impressions. I love the color grading of this show. It was just pretty. It was very pretty. It was very pretty, but it was very muted, and I love that. I don't like anything that's like, how you can turn something on and it's like too bright, especially those design shows. One of my favorite design shows does that. Whenever they show her and her husband at home, I can't look at those scenes or I'll have to turn the brightness down because their house is like white, white, and it's too much on screen. And so I was really glad that this show, With Love, Meghan, I love that everything was just off white. It's kind of left center with white, and that it was easy to look at. I also didn't realize how beautiful the scenery was at this house. Um, when they walked out, we went out with Daniel Martin's backyard and we sat in those chairs and camera pulled back. It took my breath away. It was so gorgeous. And even Daniel Martin was like, that doesn't even look real. And she was like, that's not a backdrop. That's really the scenery. It was gorgeous. I love the little house that they filmed. Little house. That was a big old house. But like, I love the house that they filmed the show in. When they showed the outside shots, I thought it was so cute. Oh my gosh, I really did enjoy it. Hi, CL. CL says, I really, really love it. Awesome. Yeah, I did too. Enjoyed it. I really like the music too. And yes, I absolutely love that we got so many shots and moments of Guy. That's probably my favorite part of this. He was so cute, but also we know that he passed on. And so to see their relationship on screen, knowing that what eventually happened, I'm sure it was difficult, but I'm sure she is very happy that she has that on film, that that's documented. Obviously, Pula was on there too, but since we know that Guy passed away, I was surprised that he was on the show so much, and I was like, oh my gosh, what a great call. What a great call. Y'all know I have a dog that's 14. And so the little slow walking and like the little soft chewing food, like we're in that phase now. And it seems like it happens overnight. My dog was 13 before he showed any signs of aging. And then it's like overnight, he started walking slower and eating softer food and little stuff like that. So we're in the little senior years. But it's fun because he can be a little bit of a headache. I have a schnauzer. And so now he's like a sweetheart. He's in that phase where he doesn't bark a whole lot. He doesn't scratch. He doesn't get in my face too much. He just lays in my lap. He's like a real lap dog now. So every phase with a terrier is interesting. But it was beautiful to see Guy. That was really sweet. And I love how it was kind of like take your baby to work. Like he was in the kitchen with her as she was cooking and she was making little things for him. I'm going to make those peanut butter dog biscuits for sure. Absolutely. I like to make some of Romeo's foods on the stove, not all of them, but sometimes I'll order Yum Wolf. I used to work there, and so I really like the owners. And sometimes I'll order Yum Wolf like on his birthday and on like little special occasions, and I'll whip him up something real good, and he loves that. And then I also live next to something called a Lazy Dog. It's a restaurant, like a real restaurant, but they also have a dog menu, and you can bring your dog and sit on the patio, and they'll serve your dog on their own dishes. There's no crossing, but your dog can go out to eat with you. So Romeo and I did that for the first time on his birthday on September 11th. We went to Lazy Dog and had us a little brunch together. So that was a lot of fun. But for dog owners, I feel like this was a very special show because that is a very unique relationship. Like, yes, they're animals, but they're family. They're absolutely family. So it was really great to see her spending that time with Guy. And he is adorable. He was adorable, just as precious as he wanted to be. Okay, so let's get into right. Yeah, that was some bright and beautiful egg yolk. Absolutely. Like everything. Also, I didn't even get to say this in the segment, but the texture of all of the food, the way that they got those shots. Okay, so filming food is not an easy task. That is its own like production task, and it takes skill. I've watched one of those videos about food photography on TikTok. I had no idea that most of the time when you see ice cream on camera, it's mashed potatoes. I was shocked. Almost everything you see in like fast food commercials or just food commercials in general, it's all not real, just the plate, like not just the food on the plate. Like it's its own little difficult task, but we're watching this show and she's actually making this food. So the food that you see on this show is actually real. It's none of it's manipulated like in food photography. All of this is real. So when you see those beautiful tomatoes on the vine, when you see those beautiful those yellow tomatoes that she cut up, when you see that pasta, when you see those beautiful raspberries, all of that is real and from her garden. And the way that they captured that to really capture the texture, first of all, don't watch this show on an empty stomach. I should have started there. Why didn't I get me something to eat? I had to immediately run and grab an emergency bag of sunflower seeds because the way I was about to get on Uber Eats and order a little bowl of Carrabba's pasta because I was craving pasta. I was like, girl, no, you're doing good. No, ma'am, you're doing so good. Don't break. So I ran and got my little emergency bag of sunflower seeds to get through it because this show will have you starving. It will have, you need to be well fed before you watch it because the beautiful, the dishes. And then of course, it's not just one type of dish. Whatever's your jam, she's got something: brunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, all of them, every type of meal, and all of them look good. And here's the thing too. I'm not a big berry eater. Like I don't really eat a lot of blueberries and raspberries and strawberries. Like I eat green grapes and green apples and bananas. And that's kind of what I do. Plums and peaches too, but like Green apples, green grapes, and bananas. Those are my things. My husband loves berries and he puts berries in everything. But I've never seen them presented in a way that actually made me curious as to like try them in other stuff. I told y'all I kind of, once I know what I like, I just stick with that and go on by my business. But now I'm like, maybe I should try some more recipes. And it's also good to try new foods every like 6 to 7 years. Like whatever you think is your favorite food probably won't be, because every 5 to 7 years, your taste buds change. So try new things. You might discover that you have a whole new favorite food, and that can kind of go for anything. Life is about evolution. So I think it's about that time that I try some berries, berry-tastic meals. Hi, TMCD. TMCD says, Sharion, me too. I was so hungry watching. I was about to break. And it doesn't help that my husband ordered a box of Tiff's treats and forgot to take them to work. So he ordered some yesterday to take them to work today, and he ran off and left them. The way I almost ate the box and the ribbon and the foil and the parchment paper, I almost took a bite out of the box. I had to literally put those cookies on a cookie sheet in the oven and close it so that I couldn't smell it. I couldn't, out of sight, out of mind. And I texted him and said, if you don't get your ass to this house and get this box, I'm gonna snap. Because Tish Treats has a very specific, delicious smell. And I was like, okay, everything was working against me. So it doesn't help that I was watching a show about food, especially when they were making that cake. And I was like, maybe I just have a little nibble of the cookie. Ain't nobody gonna be mad. And I was like, you're doing so good. I actually ended up going to the treadmill for a second time when I got to episode 4 so that I could watch it on the treadmill. It was kind of the only way I was going to save myself because I'm trying to do better. Oh, let's see what this is. Hi, Karen Warner. Karen Warner says, it just sends me back to all those lunches and dinners Prince Harry used to get when she visited before they got married. He was well fed. There was no going back for him. The friends that had a problem. I think there's another one coming, so I'm gonna wait for her second one to come up. Her second comment to come up. But while I wait for her second response, I'm gonna address this. Yeah. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. There are other ways, but the stomach is the most internet-friendly way to talk about it. Yes, the way to anybody's heart, honestly, is through their stomach. I've talked about this before. My husband wooed me by always taking me to some good restaurants and getting me some good foods. When we were dating, we were trying, like, it was fun because we weren't just dating to get to know each other. We were dating and looking for new experiences too, so that we could associate fun experiences with each other. So we went to new restaurants and tried new restaurants as we were getting to know each other. And that was a good idea because we never ran out of anything to talk about. So like the conversation never got stale. But yeah, the way to somebody's heart is through their stomach. Meghan, Miss Meghan, she know what she doing. I know that's right, girl. Get your man. And then I love the part where she said she roasted a chicken and she was so nervous the first time she roasted a chicken. And I was like, and look how that turned out for you. We know what you were doing when you got engaged, roasting a chicken. So that worked out. Go ahead and, feel the fear and do it anyway. Roast that chicken, y'all. Okay, there was no going back for him. The friends that had a problem, you lost before you even started. I don't know why. I get it. People value their friendships, but I don't know why jealous people feel like they have to build wedges between couples, especially new couples. That's like a real thing where people get kind of nervous about losing their friend or their new partner being too influential in their life, and they'll start to compete with the new partner or try to make the new partner uncomfortable. I love that Harry never went for any of that. I'm also now I don't know the details, but everything that I've heard about the friends that claim they never liked Meghan and all that, from what I understand, they were misogynistic and they were making really inappropriate comments and she just wasn't going for it. Now, we don't know the details, but that has been the most consistent thing that came out about why things didn't really go well. But you can only believe half of what you hear and half of what you see and none of what you hear when it comes to the royals and those sources. But if that's true, if that narrative that has never gone away, but if that is true, then good for her, because that can be really uncomfortable meeting new people and they're not nice. I mean, and listen, I really want to encourage people, when your family member or your friend, when they bring somebody home and you have questions about them or concerns, it's okay to have that, but it's important to do that in a certain way. When you try to wedge that person out, it makes you look petty and jealous, but also it only works to their benefit because you're only going to trigger the person that you're trying to pull back in, you're only going to trigger them to protect that person. You're going to ruin your relationship with that person. You should never go about things in a nefarious way. Do all things decently and in order. If you have a concern about a person, talk to your friend or family member. Don't try to make them feel uncomfortable. I've had that experience where I met people for the first time and they were so unkind to me, and that didn't happen often, but I've met a partner's family and they were so unkind that it kind of made me see him a little different. And then he had to step up, and I mean, they're going to protect the partner. They're not gonna, they can't pick their partner based on their family and friends. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are y'all gonna keep them warm on lonely nights? Like, you got to think about stuff like that. Like, you gonna try to get them to be single? Are you gonna go make dinner for them 3 times a week? Like, no, you better leave them alone and let them build that relationship. And if you do have a concern, go about it the right way. I'm glad the friends lost out, because something that I will say too, not all the time, but because I watch Lifetime, I know there are some shady people out there, and friends and family are just trying to help in some cases. But something I will say is, when you meet someone who is good for you and someone who almost reflects back to you some of the things that you struggle to see, you'll realize that a lot of the things you've grown complacent with or grown used to, a new partner with their fresh eyes, they'll pick up on that. I've had people come in and be like, that's not that great of a friend. And more often than not, you already know, you've just been used to it, or, making excuses for them. But sometimes new partners come in and they clean house, and it's to your benefit. Look what happened. Harry didn't need those friends, whoever they were. If you're going to try to compete with his girlfriend or his wife, get to stepping. I mean, would you pick your friends over Meghan? No. Anybody that would ask you not to be with Meghan is not a friend. Like, anybody who really loves you would want you to have the best, most equally yoked partner possible. So when they get petty and vindictive, they're only telling on themselves. And also, can they roast the chicken? Probably not like Meghan. And that's really what it comes down to. If you roast me a chicken, you've got me for life. I know that's right. You got to eat good. Oh, I clicked on that one twice. Hi, Mrs. BDA. Mrs. BDA says Meghan is a natural. She was made for this. Love it. Yes. I also think I think it came across so genuine because she really put herself into this. Like, it wasn't her just learning recipes that she saw online. It was her telling a story and sharing parts of herself with every episode. Even down to the people she had come on, they all meant something to her, or there was a reason they were connected. I think just as well as she showed us recipes and tablescapes and presentation, and just as well as she showed us all of that stuff, she really showed us her in a different way. I feel like her fans really got to see her for herself. And something that Delphina said was, I love when I see Meghan with this face. I love when I see Meghan happy and relaxed. That is a friend. Friends want you to be happy. And I love that we got to see those relationships on screen. Hi, TMCD. TMCD says, I've been wanting to learn how to make kimchi. Now we'll be making it. I've never even had kimchi, but it did look good. Tell me how that turns out. For anybody trying any of these recipes, come back to this video, please, and tell me how it turned out. And I'll talk about it tomorrow for people who are trying them today. Hi, is it N.A. Rose or Narose? Hi, N.A. Rose. I plan to rewatch all the episodes when trying to try everything. You have your work cut out for you. You about to be eating real good. If you have social media or something and you end up posting any of this, will you tag me? I'm at SharionSade everywhere. I want to come see how everything turned out, because that's quite a task. I'm excited for you. Thank you so much for the super chat. N.A. Rose says, thanks, Sharion, for helping and drowning all the negativity from these derangers. I'm actually making the focaccia right now. My pleasure. It's a labor of love. I feel like we need more. I feel like we need more examples of just happy, healthy, well-adjusted people in our media and entertainment. And honestly, we just don't have enough. Like, I feel like you get what you're looking for. So I look for happy, well-adjusted, positive content. And there's just not a lot. There's just simply not a lot. And so I feel like Harry and Meghan, the content that they make is not only feel good and positive, but it's interesting. Like, I have actually been learning more about polo since I recapped polo. I've never even been interested in polo before I watched that show. Now I'm all into it. I'm looking up everybody, seeing how they're, preparing for the season this year. Like, I appreciate that everything that they put out, it has a piece of them in it. And with that, you get that genuine nature. There's really no room for derangers. Something I'll say, I feel like episode 1 answered my question. Y'all have heard me ask this question a couple of times where I've said, I don't know how Meghan doesn't just succumb to the pressure. I'm glad she doesn't. And I know a big part of that is she has a praying mother and a praying fan base and a happy, healthy life. And, the noise is drowned out, but it's so loud sometimes. I can't imagine having to live in such a restricted manner because everywhere you turn, it could be somebody that really don't wish you well. That has to feel overwhelming at times. And so a couple of times I've asked the question, I wonder how she deals with that. Episode 1, I got my answer. Meghan feels, from what I saw, I don't know her obviously, so I can't speak on her, but what I observed was that Meghan seems to fill her space with joy, clearly, peace, happiness, and love. Everything has those elements to it. And a very curated life. Like yesterday, I talked about being intentional about every decision in your life. Are you just living the life based on the options you have, or are you going after the things you actually want? Because one of those will lead to a content life, but one of them will lead to a very joyful and happy and gracious life. And that is the other side of the coin that a lot of people don't make it to. Get there while you can, because it sucks to look back and be like, I only accepted the choices that were presented. I didn't actually go after anything. Was this life even the life I wanted? And I feel like this show was the perfect follow-up to that video yesterday when we had that discussion, because clearly every part of Meghan's life that she showed us, it was clearly a choice. And look at how happy and joyful she is. And with that said, it answered my question of how does she not just succumb to all of that noise? And I mean, it's not even just derangers like on the internet. It's like other media personalities, other celebrities, whenever they don't have a movie going on or they want to get attention in the media, let me just say something about Harry and Meghan. Like, it's like a get out of jail free card for a failing career. Like let's say something negative. And then they get all these headlines, which is part of the reason why I no longer talk about them, because I don't want to help them. I'm not going to help you get your blood money. But a big part of why I was asking that question, because that could be overwhelming. And mind you, they're in some of the spaces with some of these people. Like, they're sharing spaces. I remember there was a guy who just got a Netflix series, and in front of a bunch of Netflix execs, he made a joke at Harry and Meghan's expense. And that's not going well for him. Good. But with that said, I got my answer, because she fills her literal space with peace, love, joy, and happiness. There is no room for anything else. There's no room. Like, just watching her with Daniel Martin, for example, all they did was cook. They made candles. They had great conversation. They sat out back and ate together. That was a full day of her spending time with a friend. We didn't even get to see her time with her husband, her time with her children, her time working with her work, her foundation, or working with her finance manager about her investment. Like, we didn't get to see her business life at all. We didn't get to see her family life at all. We saw her friendships, and we saw her create this show. And even with just that little bit of sight, I saw how much joy she has in her life. She has filled her life up with so many amazing things. There is no room for that stuff to get in. If that stuff gets into her world, it's going to have to pass several layers of other things meant to protect her. And it was very inspiring to me as somebody who sometimes lets things get to me that should not, but I can be sensitive about the most random things. But when you fill your space up with the things that make you happy, you really don't have time to notice the things that don't, because you're too busy nurturing the things that matter. And I felt like, without intentionally saying that outright, I felt like that was a word. That was a big thing that I pulled away from episode 1. I was like, well, now I see how you do it. Now I see, because I didn't see her pick up her phone once and scroll. I didn't see her read any kind of headline. And I'm sure she does. Like, I'm sure she keeps up with what's going on in the world, but I'm pretty sure it's heavily filtered to make sure she gets what she needs and none of what she doesn't. And it actually kind of inspired me to put up a few more protective barriers as well and fill up my space a little bit more, so that I don't even have the time to pay attention to the stuff that don't matter. But we're all a work in progress. But I'm glad I finally got to see like how she does it. And it wasn't even like this super like, put your phone down, I can't see a headline. Like, she was just living her life. She was just living her life happily and engaging and filling her time up with things that matter. one of the more specific things, anytime she had something in the oven or something cooling, she went and did something else. She doesn't have idle hands. I noticed that immediately. I was like, oh, she doesn't give herself time to get bored enough to go seek out anything or to accidentally stumble upon. She fills her time with things that matter. She's intentional with her time. That was one of the things that I noticed about this show from episode 1. Whether it was, you know what, while that's cooking, I'm going to make you a pot of tea, or while that's going, let's go take a hike. I was like, girl, you taking a hike in the middle of the way she's got me reevaluating some of my defaults, because if my food is cooking, I'm about to crash on the couch, turn on a show, put my feet up, grab a snack. And so that's why I'm on a weight loss program now, because of those bad default habits. So taking a walk around the block while you're waiting on, like, it sounds so basic, but think about how many things you're already pre-programmed to do because you've just been doing them that way forever. And she went on a hike with a friend, filled her time up with something joyful. I think that is a word. Hi, N.A. Rose. N.A. Rose says, she came across so genuine and generous. Make the hate make sense. It's never going to make sense. I was talking to somebody on Threads where I was like, can y'all please, I get that people will respond to derangers and defend Meghan. I don't argue with people about how they choose to, defend Meghan and advocate for her, because everybody has different strengths. I no longer argue with derangers and stuff because it's just, I don't have the time for that. But one thing I noticed when people were arguing with the derangers, they were reposting it instead of just commenting on their stuff or whatever. They were reposting it and then commenting in a quote, which was putting a whole bunch of negative deranger stuff on my feed. And so I was like, hey, can you guys not repost it? At least if you're going to say something to him, say something to him, but could you not repost it? And somebody was like, no problem. I don't repost them either. I agree. And so I told that person, I was like, yeah, I block and ignore. And, they told me they don't block. And I was like, they were like, nope, I don't block them. I let them keep watching and seeing all the positive Sussex content. And I forgot that you can actually mute, which that means you can't see their nonsense, but they can still see yours. And I'm on the fence about my policy of blocking, because I was like, maybe I should let them see. But you know what? That's still too much of my energy. I feel like my energy is a present. I feel like my presence is a present. I don't want just anybody having access to my energy. So blocking them is my punishment. Like, you don't get me because I'm great. That's my way of punishing people, is pulling my energy back. But let me know on social media, do y'all mute or block? And why or why not? Because that was such an interesting note she made. She was like, I don't block them. I let them keep seeing my content. And I was like, I didn't even think about that. Y'all let me know what you do. Hi, Joyce Vose. Joyce Vose says, Meghan loves really taking care of people and making people and culture seen. Yes. One, let me also go back. I'm having a moment with the West Coast right now. Y'all know I'm a Southern girl through and through. I love the South. I am Texas. Texas is me. But almost everything coming my way right now is from the West Coast. I told y'all last year, I started having these dreams that I should move to California. And then random people started reaching out to me about California opportunities. And then y'all know I do a lot of advocacy work for a lot of charities. I work for charities through the UN, and then I also promote and I fundraise, and I just kind of work alongside them and do stuff behind the scenes. And almost every charity that reached out to me last year was in Los Angeles. Not just California, but Los Angeles specifically. That has never happened, ever. I think it was 8 reached out to me to do things alongside them, and they were all from Los Angeles. And then out of nowhere, I started getting calls from realtors. I haven't been inquiring about anything. I live in Texas. And so I feel like right now I'm having a moment with the West Coast. I've been listening to Vince Staples. Obviously, I love Issa Rae. Like, all my content has been West Coast driven. So today when I was watching this, I didn't realize how much LA was influencing so much of what Meghan showed us. And I appreciated her sharing with us, like, how living in Los Angeles, growing up in Los Angeles, really affected who she is and how much access she had to other cultures. For example, talking about going to the Korean bathhouses. That's what we talked about with archetypes as well, but we got a little bit more of her elaborating on that as well. It's important to be exposed to other cultures. I think it's so important. That's something my mom was really intentional about. And, I grew up in Texas. I grew up in Dallas specifically. And Dallas is very metropolitan. There's a lot of different cultures here. I almost feel like I've gotten to know most of my friends were Mexican, because we're right here on the border. A lot of my friends are Mexican. A lot of my friends are Kurdish. And so a lot of the people in my life, they're all from somewhere different. And even other Black people. I have a lot of Black people in my life who aren't from the South. Or if they are from the South, they're from Louisiana, which is a very different type of culture. It's important to fill your life up with people, or to get to know people that can show you something new. It only helps improve your tolerance for things that are different than you. Like, you know how people meet people and they're immediately like, I don't eat like that, I don't want to do. That's a closed mind. Open mouth and a closed mind is a dangerous combo. My mom used to say that all the time, and it is. But being exposed to other cultures helps you to appreciate others, but also your own. Getting to venture out and learn how other people live, and then you come back to what's familiar with you, and then you share something about yourself with them. I love that. So seeing Meghan talk about Los Angeles and the type of food she used to eat and how she was exposed to so many different cultures, I enjoyed that so much. I felt like Los Angeles was almost like a little cast member. I feel like every episode she shared something different about living in Los Angeles, and I thought that was interesting. She is an LA girl, absolutely. So I'm glad we got to see that on full display. Let me continue. And yes, she does take care of people very well. She even said before she had children, she always just had that nurturing quality. Some people just have it. Some people are true nurturers, with or without kids. Something I'll say is a lot of communities, particularly Black community in the South, a lot of our villages are aunties with no kids. Are the lady down the street in the candy house, or the lady that sit in the window. Now that's who I'm going to become. I already know that I'm gonna be the lady that sit in the window and tell everybody business. I'm looking forward to my promotion when I get to that point in my life. But I'm not there yet. I don't tell everybody business, but I do be in my window. I see everything that go on. But besides that, a lot of our villages and our families are made of people who don't have kids. They're just nurturers. They just look out for everybody. I think that's important. So some people just have it. And I love that she was talking about, like, she used to love to cook for people and nurture people even before she had her own children. That's amazing. Hi, N.A. Rose. N.A. Rose says, I look forward to trying all the teas, especially the sun tea. Yeah, I didn't even mention the tea. There's so, like I said, first impressions. There's so much to dissect from this show. But yes, there were a lot of different teas. I'm not a big tea drinker. I'm a bone broth drinker. So I think this is a great jumping off point to trying new types of tea. I tried Earl Grey. That was the first tea I tried. And everybody I've met has been like, never try Earl Grey first. Try other stuff first. Don't do Earl Grey. It's just a little too hard up. And I almost didn't try anything else ever again. But now I'm a bone broth drinker. I drink Millie's bone broth, the pho tea, and the smoky bacon. Those are my two, but I think I should start venturing out. And this show definitely highlighted that for me, like trying some of these recipes. I also think it makes a difference if some of this stuff is fresh. A lot of times that I've tried things, the ingredients weren't fresh. Restaurant ingredients aren't the freshest either. So some of the things that I've tried that I thought I didn't like, maybe they just weren't fresh. And maybe I should try some things with fresh ingredients. So yeah, I'm gonna try the teas too. Hi, Olivia Johnson. Olivia Johnson says the music was excellent. Yes, it was. The music was really good. And it didn't just follow one type of music. There was all kinds of music. I got a comment when the sneak peek came out of Meghan talking to, I think it was Roy Troy, where he said he listened to like heavy metal. He also said he listened to jazz and rap and all these other genres, but he said he listened to heavy metal. And Meghan was like, really? And he was like, yeah, it's great, especially when you're butchering, which I can see that. But I got this comment about that sneak peek, which I'm really reluctant to criticize sneak peeks. You don't know the full context. You have to just take it all in until you see the real thing. But I got the comment and was like, I'm really disappointed in Meghan for being so close-minded about music. And so I got the comment. I was like, wait, what are they talking about? So I went back and found the sneak peek and I saw that scene. But then when I watched it in full today, it's exactly what I thought it was. She was just surprised. I don't think she was judging him at all. As a matter of fact, she followed up and was like, it's important to try new things. And there's nothing wrong with that. People have different sides. I didn't see her criticizing headbanger music at all. Now, some of it can be a little loud. I'm not saying it's bad, but some of it can be just real loud. But I actually listen to Linkin Park, and some of their songs can lean into headbanging. I like their rap songs too, but some of their songs can be a little bit headbanger at the end, like Lying My Way From You and stuff like that. It can be a little loud, but it is good to listen to when you're working out. But I didn't see that as a criticism. Her reaction was just a little surprised. That's kind of how I read it. But, correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all let me know. Did I read that wrong? Hi, Jennifer Gordon. Jennifer Gordon says, I'm on the 4th episode. Just love it. Can't wait to finish watching the rest. You are in for a good time. And don't forget, once you finish, rewatch it again so that you can pick up the things that you missed. Hi, Just Blanche. Just Blanche says, that's true. She's a great teacher. Yes, that is a skill. It is not an easy skill either. It definitely requires a lot of patience. She's a great teacher. And it's easy to think because you know something that you can teach other people, but no, you have to know how to teach. And that is an underrepresented skill. Hi, Gracie. Gracie says, hello, Sharion and Sussex squad. Princess Meghan's show is amazing. Oh my God, I learned so much. She is very good in all that she does. Yes. Yep. I love that she also, a lot of these things are things that she does anyway, that she wasn't just doing them for the show or like, I got to have content. Like she showed us things that she's actually interested in. And I think that's why it translated so well on camera. Hi, Joyce Vos. Joyce Vos says, she's a woman who knows how to work and not afraid of working. Great example for Archie and Lily. Harry is also a hard worker. Yes, absolutely. She definitely has a lot of career history, but something that I noticed is that she doesn't complain about the jobs. It seems like when she was there, she was definitely focused on learning and adapting, and look at how that served her. Because experiences are not always going to be the best or the most perfect, but it's important to focus on what's important when you're there, not just complaining. So you might not think that receptionist job is going to help you, but trust me, learning how to use a multi-line phone is a skill that a lot of people don't have. A lot of people don't have. Learning customer service skills. I remember telling somebody that I felt like business owners should have to work in a customer service setting for at least 6 weeks or 6 months before getting a business license, because too many business owners own a business, but they don't know how to service customers. And customer service is a true skill, and real customer service representatives, they know what to do. It doesn't mean you just acquiesce to everything, but they know how to take care of people. Customer service is a form of nurturing. And there are some people who are just cut out for it. And then there are some people who are not. And so hardworking people, when they go into different settings and go into different jobs, even if it's not their dream job, they acquire skills along the way. And look at how all the skills that Meghan was showing were different opportunities and different experiences that she had. And none of them were her dream or her, last stage or her dream life. They were things that she did along the way, and they all served her in some way. That's a really good habit to be in. But I've mentioned before, something that I've noticed about her is she and Harry both, when I read Spare, I kind of got the same energy. They're both forever learners. Like there are some people who are on this earth that everything they do, they are always learning something new, like at all times, whether it's a new language, whether it's a new game, whether it's a new recipe, like at every phase of life, they're in the process of learning something. And that is how you keep your brain sharp. My granddaddy, who passed away at 93, he said the same thing: never stop learning. And I feel like forever learners, they're some of the best people to be around because they have all these amazing experiences and all these amazing stories. President Obama is another person who's like that. I met someone who met him, who was at a dinner with him and was sitting across from him. And he was like, President Obama knows a lot about everything. Whatever the topic is, he knows a lot about that topic. And he's also an excellent storyteller and an engaging conversationalist. He is such an interesting person to sit beside. And I've heard the same feedback about Meghan as well, that she knows a lot about a lot of different topics. And we saw how she acquires that information. Every time someone on the show was teaching her something, she was asking a lot of questions. She was fully engaged. She was practicing. She was just as much an avid learner as she was a great teacher. I think those two things go hand in hand. Hi, Denise. Denise says, I was watching on my phone and my computer and my TV too. I know that's right, Denise. You better support our girl. I know she's going to get 1 trillion views on Netflix. Love Duchess Meghan. Okay, Meghan, when you see them 1,000,000,001 views, credit Denise. because I've watched 4 times. Well, I've watched all 8 episodes, but I plan to watch this week 4 times every day for the rest of the week so that I can acquire more as I do my recaps. But I haven't gotten that far. So you know what, Denise? I'm going to put it on my iPad and my phone as well while I'm watching on TV. That's a great idea. Anybody else who has other devices with Netflix on it, I highly recommend. Or if you have other TVs, just turn it on and watch it in one room and have it on in the other rooms. Hi, Michelle Hewitt Edmond. Michelle says, I don't bake a lot, but that cake just seems so simple, but yet beautiful. It did. And the way they reacted when they took a bite, I'm definitely going to try that cake because those reactions were real. You can tell when food is good because the first thing people do is, they moan, they get to singing. When somebody gets to singing, the food is good. I know that much. When I have people over, I wait for them to sing. If they just go, it's good, it's all right, I'm like, dang, that wasn't good. But the moment them eyes close and they savor, gotcha. I got you. So yes, that cake clearly was delicious because they both had a reaction. Hi, Joyce Vos. Joyce Vos says, Meghan is surrounded by love of friends, her husband, mother, and children. She really looked so happy. She did. She absolutely did. You know, something that I enjoyed was the conversation. I have to remember her name, but the lady who was the founder of Tatcha, I have to remember her name. Tomorrow I'll remember everybody because I'll do a thorough recap. But when she was talking about how things that have been through something, have had negative experiences, or things that have been chipped or broken, it adds to their beauty. I love people with that perspective, but also I love reminders like that because I am a tragic Virgo. I like everything perfect. I like everything the way it's supposed to be. And I do it the same way every time. And I have a goal in mind. And it is important to remember that there is beauty in things not turning out exactly the way we thought it could. Or there's beauty in things having a different path or a different route or looking a little different or a little left of center. I struggle with that. And that was a good reminder that things don't have to look perfect to be valuable. As a matter of fact, the imperfections add to the beauty. I thought that was a really cool message to have in that show. And it's also a great message coming from Meghan because, you know, a lot of people will talk about it's important to focus on what's on the inside. But I feel like when genuinely gorgeous people who are physically gorgeous also have a good heart and talk about beauty on the inside, I feel like it hits different because they're like, no, genuinely, I know I'm pleasing to look at. But focus on what's on your heart. I feel like the message lands for me because how are you pretty on the inside and beautiful on the outside too? That's just too many gifts. You got too many gifts. You need to share some of those. Spread it around. Hi, Karen Warner. Karen Warner says, I am just watching With Love, Meghan. Just finished episode 2. I am loving it. It's so awesome. I am cracking up. It was a very funny show. I'm going through initial, but I have to rewatch and soak it in. Love the honey making. That was fun. That was really fun. I forgot to mention that, but yes, I agree. Hi, KOD. KOD says, the negative vibes in the UK is deafening. They are now saying Netflix is going to fire them. You know what? Being a hater is one of the most illogical professions one can have because the amount of hoops they will jump through to find a criticism, and then the amount of hoops they'll jump through when they couldn't find the criticism, so they'll just make something up. It's astounding. It would be an excellent skill if it wasn't so negative because you know how much hard work you have to put into devoting yourself to hating to the point that you make up stuff. That has to be some true devotion. I tell you one thing, all that energy they're putting into hating on Meghan, they should probably put that energy back into themselves and they'll probably have a life worth living to the point that they won't be reducing themselves to being haters on the internet. I feel like when you're a professional 24-hour hater, that just tells me everything I need to know about how much time you truly spend with yourself and how much you are truly happy, or should I say unhappy with yourself. Happy people don't hate. In the most basic way. Happy people don't hate on other people. And that goes for whether you hate on a celebrity or a regular person or whatever. When you wake up focused on hate, or when you're looking for something to pull somebody down, you know those people that you meet and they try to humble you? Like you can say, oh my God, I just got a new car. And they'll be like, well, you good luck with the note. And you're like, okay, well, I'll pay the note as long as I like the car. Okay, these heated seats are going to keep me warm as I write this check. But no, you know, people that try to humble you, they're unhappy. Happy people don't behave that way. Meghan has already defeated the people who hate on her just by waking up and choosing to be happy, because they don't have that option. And that's why they're mad. They don't like themselves. They don't like their life. They don't like their options. And they don't want to focus on what they can do to turn their circumstances around. They want to focus on people who have a good life and just try to bring them down. It's kind of like that ideology. I don't want to make my circumstances better, but I don't want you to have ones that you enjoy. I want you to come down here with me. Misery loves company. I don't want you to elevate me. I want you to come down here. That's the same reason I said that yesterday. Same reason why you don't jump in water when you're saving someone from drowning. You save them by throwing them a life raft. Whether you get on or get off, that's on you. But what you won't do is drown me in the process. That's how those people operate. Because the moment you drown, you get in that water, the first thing they're going to do is push your head under. Whether they live or not, they just want you to be underwater. When you wake up and choose to be happy and choose to ignore them, serve them up a good old hefty dose of you don't exist, that defeats them more than anything else. And I'm pretty sure they are nervous or angry or upset or anxious about this show, because the one thing I can say about every single episode of this show is Meghan was happy as hell. And good for her. Good for her. Because, life, nobody promised anybody a life that had no challenges. But I feel like those challenges really do help you define yourself. And what matters most is how you feel about yourself. And I'm pretty sure she's damn proud of herself, because they tested her in every way possible. Not only did she come out on top, but she came out on top with a clean heart, because that could have made her bitter. That could have made her bitter. Most people would have come out of that experience bitter, reclusive, miserable. She's not dimming her light. As a matter of fact, I feel like those trials, it only made her shine brighter. I feel like it increased her light, or it made her more intentional about sharing her light with more people, because so many people benefit from her being the version of herself that she is. I talked about that before with her and Harry, with Archewell Foundation, Invictus Games Foundation, all the amazing things that they do. When they're operating in their element, a lot of people benefit. They change a lot of lives just by getting up and following their path and operating in their passion. Haters cannot touch that. They can't touch that. And here's the thing. What sane person would want to do that? What sane person would want to derail two people who are out here helping others? Only a crazy person. That's why you can't put no stock in what they say. Haters are insane. They don't even like themselves. Why would you listen to what they think about you? You just have to let people cook in their own juices and live your life the way you want to. Hi, Lynn Pryor Audio. Lynn Pryor says, Sharion, you have a Meghan vibe going on. All right, with a bun and your hair looks nice. Thank you. It's been a while since I had a low bun. Thank you. I appreciate that. So when I was watching the show, I saw a couple of times she had like a pink hue, and I've been wearing a brown hue lately, but I was like, you know what? It's finna be spring. Add some pink in there. So I put a little pink on today. Thank you. Or mauve. It's not pink, it's mauve. Hi, Karen Warner. Karen Warner says, I love doing one-pot meals, so this is awesome. I just learned the trick to make mine better. I also love a gold cocktail always. Is it gold cocktail or gold cocktail? I am getting some good ideas. Princess Meghan Sussex, we can hang, girl. Okay, you know what? I have a quick question for you. When you said you learned to make your one-pot meals better, did you learn it from this, or do you have another tip? If so, leave it in the comments. What else did you learn to make your one-pot meals better? Because I'm going to make that pasta. Hi, TMCD. TMCD says, watched all the episodes and I love it. This is so right up my alley, and I'll definitely be rewatching and making notes. Nice. Okay, well, when we come back tomorrow and start our recap, we'll have a lot to talk about, because I didn't even get to touch on everything. Hi, Joyce Vos. Joyce Vos says, Netflix has really put out the production value. Yes, they did. And I'm glad. It looked good. It sounded good. It felt good. High energy show, but it wasn't eccentric. Some shows can be like extreme. Like, I don't like all that. I like a good paced, high energy show that feels good to watch, doesn't get my anxiety up. I'm getting old, get my heart beating fast. Can't do that. So this is a good show that inspired me to want to get in the kitchen. I made Cornish hens tonight, and I said, you know what? I'm going to try some new things and stuff like that. So I looked up some ways to spruce up my Cornish hens. I'll let y'all know how it turns out. All right, let's go to the next segment, and then we'll continue the discussion when I get back. Don't forget to keep lighting up the live chat, and I'll respond to some of your discussion points when I return. I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show.
Love knowing that your husband likes it salty.
I can't guarantee it'll be perfect, but it will be joyful. Cue the montage.
Your only ratchet friend.
I think this is the earliest that I've had alcohol in a long time.
Oh, welcome to Montecito. And I would text you and say, hi, what's on trend right now? What color is cool? It's not my perfume that's bringing them all in. My bacon brings all the boys to the yard.
That's so good.
It's your choice of adjectives that I really appreciate. And he said, oh, with a ladybird. In the UK, they don't call them ladybugs. Ladybugs are called ladybirds.
It a bug, Harry. I'll tell it to his face. Say it right.
She missed a spot. Mind the gap.
If I were not the recipient of this, I would be so mad about this.
I keep saying Meghan Markle, you know I'm Sussex now. No, I share my name with my children. It just means so much to go, this is our family name, our little family name.
This is literally cozy.
It's like that Beyonce song.
Yeah.
Cozy.
Something that I really enjoyed about my first watch through is how funny the show is. I knew there would be little cute moments and little one-liners here and there, and I've talked about it before that a lot of people who know Meghan personally say that she is very funny, so I did assume that there would be a light, slightly humorous element to the show, but I actually was a little surprised at how funny it was. There were a lot of funny moments. I would have to say the funniest episode is the Mindy Kaling episode. I was actually leaned over laughing, particularly when she said that she would tell Harry to his face that it's a ladybug and not a ladybird. And then when she goes, it a bug. That was probably, that was the one that got me. Mindy Kaling is hilarious. She and Meghan bounced the humor back and forth so well. And then I'd also have to say the first episode with Daniel Martin, her friend of 15 years. What a blessing it is to have a friend for that long, especially as an adult. That is beautiful. I love seeing that kind of representation on TV of long-term friendships and what's really important in the world. I spoke about that before. I love that every project Harry and Meghan produce and present to us, there's an element of their core values in it. It's not just thrown together. They show what's important and it resonates with everyone. And I think that's the part that people continue to miss when the assumptions was that this show would be unrelatable because Meghan is royalty and that she's rich, so we won't be able to understand. Those people are only showing a little bit of their ineptitude to do a little due diligence because you could have just looked at their other projects and recognized that that element was never a barrier, and this is no different. But I think the fact that there's so much of their values in their projects, that is why it spans any kind of economic tier or any kind of racial tier, whatever is separating you from Meghan, whether it's gender, race, monetary, your money, or financial status, your career, whatever is separating you from the people that you're watching, that's not really at play here because the focus is on what's important. And those are values that most of us share. I would say we all share, but I think our current political climate would correct me on that. But for the sane members of society, we all share those values of valuing friendship, joyful moments, happiness, building relationships and connections, finding something fun to do. And I also appreciate that although this is not a kid's show by any means, it is safe for children to watch. We don't have enough of that. But also, it's very funny and the jokes are appropriate and appropriately funny. So you can watch this with your kids and you'll probably be cracking up and they might not get the joke. But there's also elements that are for kids, like the Mindy Kaling episode specifically, where she's showing Mindy Kaling some things that she can do when she's throwing parties for her kiddos. And so I love that the things that are most important to Meghan are very present here, and it has nothing to do with her royal status. It has nothing to do with her amazing acting career. It has nothing to do with her current booming career as an investor. It's just Meghan. And I feel like although we understand where the name With Love, Meghan, because she's doing things for the people she loves with love, and I love that, but I also think it's a little bit representative of her. She does all things with love, all things with joy, regardless of the place that she's in her life. That's kind of hard to do. I know that this segment is about funny moments, but I kind of went off on a little rabbit hole. A little rabbit trail. I hope y'all aren't mad at me. But the fact is, it's really hard to maintain some of those things when your life makes drastic changes between a new partner, you get married, you have kids, you have dogs and pets, you move, you might become royalty. Like, these things change your life. And to still be able to hold on to those long-term relationships and to grow and evolve within those relationships as you continue to grow and evolve within yourself, that has posed to be one of the most difficult parts of adulthood that I've found. Aside from like losing people to death and grief, aside from that, the hardest part of adulthood has been transitioning and evolving within relationships with people, as well as evolving within yourself, because that's really the testament of time. That's a testament to your relationship, and that's the test of time, is as I'm changing and as you're changing, as we should, our relationship will change. And can we hold on to this? And can we evolve our relationship to meet us where we are? And the best friendships and the best relationships absolutely can. And I love seeing that represented on TV. We don't have a lot of that. And I think this is just part of that feel-good aura and that feel-good energy that I was talking about that comes with Harry and Meghan's projects. It just feels good to sit and watch. Also, I don't know about you guys, but seeing them be so creative, it kind of sparked my creativity. I love being creative, but sometimes if I'm doing the same thing and keeping the same routine for too long, I can get into a little redundancy hole and I'm not inspired. And so I'm not really giving a whole lot of effort to the areas in my life that require creativity. So seeing things like this, that's fun and joyful, including the music, including the color grading and all of that. We've gotten into that in the other segments. The show as a whole really sparked a lot of creativity with me, and I was excited about that. If you've had a similar reaction to this, let me know. Did this spark any kind of creativity for you, whether it's music, whether it's painting, whether it's writing, whether it's cooking? Let me know. I'm interested in hearing that. But all in all, this show is actually a lot funnier than I anticipated. Like I said, I knew there would be fun one-liners and jokes here and there. I did not expect to be doubled over, though. And even the conversation that she had with Delphina, their conversations were just so relaxed and funny. And I love the moment where Meghan is like, the guys are going to be really upset. Their husbands are friends. Delphina's husband is Nacho. Church Nelly, I'm sorry. His legal wife but we know you're really his wife. But Delphina is his legal wife. But Delphina is married to Nacho. And of course, Nacho and Harry are friends. And we just talked all about their friendship when we recapped Polo. But Meghan makes a comment and says the boys are going to be really disappointed that they didn't get in on this feast. And she was like, sorry, boys, this is for the girls. I was like, how funny. Like, first of all, imagine Harry just like watching this back and being like, what? I'll be. I know he was mad. I hope she took him home a little to-go box. You can't be cooking at work and then not taking the food home to your man. Anyway, this show is very funny. What were some of the funniest moments for you? Were there any moments that really stood out that had you laughing? Let me know in the comment section below or in the live chat. So yeah, that segment was about it being funny, but the show was funnier than I anticipated. I knew it would be like good, but I was cracking up, especially at Mindy Kaling. She had me hollering. When she said, "It a bug," I thought I was going to cackle. I was like, okay, girl, it a bug. That had me laughing, but no, Mindy and Meghan are right. It's a bug. A lady bird would be a bird. And actually, Lady Bird is the dog on King of the Hill. I'm showing my Texas right now. Let me stop. Lady Bird is the dog on King of the Hill. Okay, let's read some of these comments. Hi, Mrs. BDA. Y'all have the best profile pictures. My little thumbnail is so weird looking, and I've been trying to update it. Every time I update it, I hate it more than the original. So I just keep going back. Y'all be having the best profile pictures. Okay, Mrs. BDA says, how great is it for two people I was following separately end up together and so perfect for each other? I love their love story. Me too. I do too. Absolutely. I completely agree. Hi, R.R. Carter. It's good to see you. R.R. Carter says the Duchess of Sussex does not need to copy from anyone. Oh, no, absolutely not. Who said she copied? Let me know, R.R. Carter. Who said it? Do I need to read somebody? I got a little extra hostility left over from earlier. Y'all let me know if I need to read somebody. Who said she was copying? She wasn't copying nobody. And if they said that, then they could say it to my face. Just get hostile for no reason. Hi, R.R. Carter. Oh, I already read that one again. Hi, Ma Will. Ma Will says, I watched it all to the end. It was so beautiful. I completely agree. Yeah, it was a very beautiful show. Hi, TMCD. TMCD says, you can see and feel the closeness she has with everyone involved. Yes, they have very real relationships, very intimate relationships. And they all seem to just get to like have that, what is it called? Like that, not fourth wall. What is it called? The wall. The wall is down. Like everyone comes in, they're comfortable. Meghan was barefoot. Like everybody's just chilling. Even the crew. The crew was clearly part of the vibe. Like she was feeding the crew. At one point, one of the crew members says, "You're preparing for Mindy, but you're also serving me too." And like she was passing him a drink. Like clearly. Meghan is just good vibes. Look at the effect she has on people around her. I think that's beautiful. Hi, 11. Hey, it's been so long. How you doing? 1111 says, Lady Bird sounds so wrong. It does. It absolutely does. But you know, people like to do things the way they do them. Ma Will says, I was not aware that you can eat flowers. Me either. And now I'm wanting to look some of that up because those dishes were very pretty. TMCD says, and she would tell Harry to his face. That had me cracking up. How do people keep a straight face around Mindy? I really love Mindy Kaling. Tinkerbell17. Hi, Tinkerbell17. It's good to see you. Tinkerbell says, I've watched all episodes and loved them all and will rewatch because I plan on making that cake. Meghan has skills. She is also adorable. If you make that cake, Tinkerbell, and you post it, please tag me at SharionSade. I want to see y'all's creations and how well you did replicating some of these recipes. Hi, Benjamin Padilla. It's good to see you, Benjamin. Hi. Benjamin Padilla says, hey guys, how's everyone today? I got up at 6 a.m., 1 hour early just to watch it. I caught one episode only. I loved it. Meghan is in her groove. She don't need nobody's lane. She made her own. I know that's right. I completely agree. Hi, Karen Warner. Karen Warner says, I love entertaining. As you guys know, when I did the gala for Prince Harry's birthday, it was excellent. I am always looking to learn new creative things and ideas. This is great help you to know the people. What? I didn't know you. No, tell me more about this gala, Karen. I didn't know about this. I would love to hear more about that. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Benjamin Padilla. Benjamin says, I ate flowers in Hawaii some years back. Really? What were they like? When I was in Hawaii, all I ate was pineapple. I mean, I ate pineapple every day, all day. And even with dinner, I was like, do y'all have any pineapple in the bag? Could you bring it out? Like, I'm obsessed with that. I have never tasted pineapple that sweet in my life. And it was everywhere. As soon as we got to the beach, there was always somebody with pineapple handing it out. Oh my goodness. That's all I ate in Hawaii. I really wanted to have like a real cuisine tour because everybody else who I knew who had been was always telling me like, oh, you need to go here, you need to go there, you can try this. And I went to Waikiki, so there was a lot of places to eat. I was pretty much living on pineapple. I ate pineapple for breakfast, pineapple for lunch, and then I would eat some form of a protein and pineapple for dinner. Like, and here's the funny part. On vacation, I usually gain like 10 to 15 pounds. I lost weight in Hawaii. Like I lost weight in Germany too. I lost 15 pounds in Germany. I also lost weight in Hawaii. I lost about 20 pounds in Hawaii. I was there for a week, but I didn't lose it all while I was there. When I was there, I lost 10, but then I lost 10 the week after as well, because all I was really still eating was fruit. I was still kind of in that same zone. But I didn't try any flowers. Let me know how that was. I would love to try that. Hi, Heather Gillespie. Heather Gillespie. What a pretty profile picture. Those are gorgeous flowers. Oh, Heather Gillespie says, I come from catering. Many flowers are edible. Nice. Are there any that are your favorite? Let me know. Hi, Jackie Torrero. Good to see you. Jackie says, I watched it all. Fantastic food from different cultures. I love that. I love that because she could have just focused only on herself. I love that she helped to shed a light and a positive light on other cultures, other types of food. I thought that was a really great way to go. Again, one of those reasons why I say Harry and Meghan are both like relatable, even though you might not be able to relate to them as people or as royals, or because they both have really interesting careers. They live a very big life. So it might seem like they're not relatable, but they are both at their core focused on the things that matter to most people, regardless of what the other stuff is, the job, the car, the house, all that stuff. They're focused on family, friends, love, and their value system. And that resonates with most people. I think that's why they're so relatable. Absolutely. I thought that was a great call to include other cultures. Hi, Karen Warner. Karen says, the friends were jealous because they realized Prince Harry was about to grow up and they wanted him to stay in the same place that fulfilled their lives, not his. Karen, should you ever decide to get into the business of writing sermons, I want this topic to be your first because you are preaching a word. Absolutely. Some people want you to stay small because it makes them feel big. And also when you elevate and grow, more often than not, it highlights for other people areas where they can elevate and grow. And most people with a brain, they see that and they're like, you know what? Yes, let's keep going. Like, you got a better job. Now I'm interested in maybe elevating in my workplace or getting a promotion. Like, light begets light. Some people will see someone else shining and be like, yes, your shine helped me shine. But then there are other people who will be like, look at you over there all lit up. There's some people who will see a flame and be like, stay away from those people. Some people really do benefit from you staying small, and they identify themselves in different ways. And I think it's so hard to accept because when you aren't built like that, it's hard to conceptualize anybody who feels that way. That was kind of my struggle with some of the people who left my life at my behest because they weren't good friends. It took me years to accept that maybe they didn't have the best intentions for me because I wasn't built like that. I wasn't made like that. So anytime they did something that seemed weird, sometimes I didn't use the best discernment because I was like, well, I know their heart. And I had to finally ask myself, girl, do you? Are you just projecting your heart on these people? Because they might not mean you well, mama. And I had to make some real decisions. So, like, I swear, when I got married, I remember my wedding planner saying weddings and funerals expose who people really are. And I just thought, okay, but I'm not like no bridezilla, so we're not gonna have no conflict. No. Weddings and funerals really do bring people to a certain point. And I discovered at my wedding, somebody secretly hated my guts. I was like, God dang, I wish I'd known this before I made you my maid of honor. But you live and you learn. And you're right about that. Some friends want you to stay small because then either one, that means they have to grow up or pale in comparison, or two, they benefit in some way from you playing small. And also just the age old, some people are just miserable and they want you to be miserable too. You've ever been in a bad mood and you're complaining and somebody join you? I've had those moments where I'm like, ooh, it felt good to get that off my chest with you. Like, I've had those moments. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that those actually make me feel worse. Like, in the moment, it might feel like a little better to have a partner in crime. But over time, there's always like that residue, that lag. I call it emotional residue, when you've done something or said something that you know probably wasn't the best, and you kind of don't get rid of that feeling for a while. It just feels better to process things in a more healthy way because you don't want that residue following you. And some friends really struggle when you decide to no longer be the version of yourself that best served them but least served you. And that's when you have to cut the cord. And the right partner will really help you with that. Sometimes, just like I said, sometimes when you meet somebody who really loves you and cares about you, they can highlight things for you that you were denying. And it's not easy, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. Hi, TNO. TNO says, I need it with love, Meghan, for escape. Now for the recipes to try. I want teas, fried chicken, focaccia, sandwiches, mahjong. Oh my gosh, I read that so wrong. Mahjong, pasta, jam, cake, candles, pot stickers, salads, kimchi, and more. Same. And should you make all of these things and you need someone to help you eat it, I'm your girl. Call me. Let me know. Hi, Liz Anderson. Liz Anderson says, I love the series. It is joyful, beautiful, light, entertaining, and yummy TV. Oh, I love that. Meghan is gorgeous and seems loved and happy and healthy. Yes. Now, that's one thing I did see. Mama is loved. She is very loved and very taken care of. Absolutely. May we all have networks that love us that way. Did y'all see in the last episode when she walked up to her friend and she gave her that big old hug? It was very sweet. It was very subtle, and it wasn't even like the focal point of the scene. They were just kind of off to the side, and that just very big bear hug. I was like, she gives the same amount of love that she gets. What a beautiful cycle of reciprocity. They just seem to generate really, really, really good positive vibes. And it was great to see her mom. I didn't think her mom would be on there. It was great to see her. We really got a lot of really great content. Hi, TNO. TNO says, with love, Meghan has been on a loop on all my available devices since 12 a.m. I know that's right, Squatty. Gonna wear these devices out. Don't forget to charge them. My husband took my iPad to work today so he could take notes. He wanted to take fancy notes, as I call it. He got him a little stylus pen. But I'm gonna have to tell him to bring that on back so that we can go ahead and stream With Love Meghan on another device. I have to do my squatty due diligence. I'm not trying to be a bad squatty now. He knows my obligations. Hi, RR Carter. RR Carter says, hey, Sharion, just finished With Love Meghan. Oh my gosh, how wonderful. Not just cooking tips, gift giving, floral arrangements. Yes, there was so much. I really want to do better with floral arrangements. I told y'all I do the same little white flowers on everything, tulips and roses. I just like white flowers everywhere, but I could put a little bit more color into my presentation. Whenever I know people are coming or I'm hosting, I'll just go get white flowers at the florist. But I could spruce it up, and watching Meghan put together that centerpiece or just that floral arrangement and having it look a little wild, that is literally the opposite of what I do. And I loved how it looked. And this is why I like shows like that kind of get me to open my mind, because seeing the end result made me like, you know what? Because I typically dislike carnations a lot. But seeing the way she set it up, I was like, that looks gorgeous. Again, I just need to get out there and try new things and be willing to work with it until I get it right. Hi, Joyce Vose. Same. Joyce Vose says, I block. I block too. I feel like you don't deserve access, but I don't know. I mean, we all have our way of doing things, but I definitely block. Hey, Colette McCullough, it's good to see you. It's always a pleasure. Colette McCullough. And hey, Bailey. Colette McCullough says, I will block your ass in a New York minute. I know. I know that's right. If I did it, my page would be shut down. I already got one warning. Oh, no. Colette, what happened with your warning? We've all been there. Y'all remember when YouTube was being mean to me and they kicked me off the platform for no reason, and then they demonetized me for no reason? They were beating me down. Me and YouTube fought all last year, and then I quit, and then I came back. But we had to come to terms because I was not coming back. I had made up my mind. I was like, I don't care about this. I'm leaving. I'll keep my Patreon. And everybody came over there too. Well, most people came over to my Patreon or my podcast. I was like, I'm done with YouTube. And then we worked it out. We made it right. But they had me angry. YouTube was beating me down last year. They was tearing me up. They was hitting me with haymakers left and right in the street. I felt like one of y'all was screaming, girl, get up. You on your face down in a puddle. Get up. Fight back. They had me hemmed up. Hi, Candace. Candace says, yes, Louisiana folk are definitely different. Yes. You know what's so funny? There are so many different types of Southern, because people can say they're from the South and you're like, yeah, but you're not from the South. Like, this is kind of shady, and no offense to anybody. And this excludes Miami. When I say Florida, I'm not talking about Miami, because there are people in Miami who are very Southern. But for the most part, people in Florida, I don't feel like they're in the South. I feel like Florida is Florida, and then the rest of the South is the South. When I lived there, it was really hard for me to feel like it was the South. It doesn't feel Southern. But when I was in Alabama, I felt like I wasn't Southern enough. I was like, I could really afford to step it up a bit. Like, we went to this restaurant called Shula's, and the accents there of the waiter, I was just like, I am absolutely obsessed with your accent. I love a good Southern drawl, and I've never heard a better Southern drawl than Alabama. in Louisiana, oh my God, they got the best food. But people from New Orleans, I'm obsessed with their accents. I love their accents. And I try not to be weird. Like when I talk to people from New Orleans, especially the women, I try not to be weird because I don't want them to be like, could you stop staring at me? But like when they're talking, I just want them to keep saying more things. So I usually just ask questions. I'll be like, so anyway, what's your social security number? Like, I just be wanting them to talk. But no, all jokes aside, I love their accents, but also there is just nothing like a good old Southern Texas accent. It's just nothing like it in the world. That might be a good or a bad thing. Hi, N.A. Rose. N.A. Rose says, come on over, lady. You and your hubby belong in Cali. We do. I feel like I'm supposed to be in California. I feel like I'm always going to retire in Texas. But I feel like I'm in a stage in my life where this is a pit stop. And I feel like I'm headed to the West Coast. Like I genuinely feel that way. Feels like future me is sending that message back. Like, girl, come on. She says, I'm a transplant from Florida. I wish I could bring California to Florida. Florida and Texas belong together. Come to Cali. I completely agree. 100%. And I will come to Cali. And I swear they need to hire Meghan for the Chamber of Commerce because she puts on for Los Angeles. She makes Los Angeles sound like if you're not from LA, you're not from anywhere. Like it makes you really want to go. She's always talking about like the really cool things that she got from growing up there. And it made me really interested on my next visit to come back to try new things while I'm there. Usually when I'm there, I'm just really shopping. I hate to say that. I'm at the beach or I'm shopping when I come to California, but I'm going to venture out and try some food and stuff like that. Hi, TCC Sun. TCC Sun says, hello, squatties and Sharion. I took off today and it was worth it. Oh. I'm glad your real name not on here. I don't want to get you in trouble. I love the flowers and pasta back in the kitchen. I love that. All right now. Well, hopefully you don't get in trouble for that. Everybody needs PTO day, self-care day. Hi, My Will. My Will says, I will make the quiche and the pasta dish. Nice. Again, if y'all post these anywhere, please let me know. I want to be part of the function. Hi, Gia M. Gia M says, now I can see why she gets all the hate. Meghan Markle is pure light. Again, my sermon writers, because you just preached a word. Yes, absolutely. I told you some people, their instinct is, they just want to put the light out. You know, sometimes it's so hard not to respond to some of that stuff. But then when you realize how miserable those people are, you realize the karma is them just getting to be them. You can't really do too much more that'll be worse. Them being them is the punishment. Some people are just bad news blues. Some people are just bad vibes. And you know, if they're projecting that out, imagine what all is going on inside. Because you only project out about 10% of what's really happening on the inside. So when people are mean and surly, it's a war zone in that internal world. One of my favorite quotes, and I can't even remember who said it, and I wish I could, but I remember somebody said, I won't accept an invitation to the war you have with yourself. And I was like, now wait a minute, because if that's not the truth, and I'm not even trying to be ugly because this is not about them, but I remember when I heard that, the first two people I thought of was William and Kate. Because the way they treated Harry and Meghan just didn't make any sense. And no matter how we slice it, even though we understand it was like jealousy and all the things that they're going through, and honestly, just mean and surly people, racist as well. All just a little cocktail of bad vibes, like I said. But when I heard that quote, again, I won't accept an invitation to the war you have with yourself. That really hit me. And they were the first two people I thought about. Because you know how unhappy with yourself you have to be to project that much out? Do you know how miserable you have to be for that to be your vibe? And it's not, and the way to know that it had nothing to do with Meghan, she was the target because she triggered their insecurities, but it wasn't anything that she herself did, because look at how they treat other people and each other. Clearly, that's just who they are. That's just who they are, because I saw some pictures of Kate giving the bug eyes to somebody at the Royal Ascot, and I was like, you knew cameras was around and you did that. So what are you doing behind closed doors? You real comfortable being mean and ugly. Hi, Heather Gillespie. Heather Gillespie says, it's also because Meghan has shattered the myth of white privilege. She does royalty better than the hereditary ones. You know, I feel like that's what a lot of Black women, women of color, biracial women, women who who go into these spaces and they work or they excel, they get a promotion or they manage other people, they become royalty, whatever, they have success in some form or fashion. I feel like some people's whole drive is it shouldn't belong to you. I don't think I deserve it, but I know for damn sure you don't deserve it. Like, you shouldn't have it. There's a lot of people who are bitter because they don't want to see other people who are unlike themselves win. And again, the war they have with themselves. That's an inadequacy. If that's an inadequacy bug, if I've ever heard one, that's somebody who is deeply, deeply unhappy with who they are. And that's not something anybody else can fix. And also, that's a lesson for myself as well, because I struggle with not responding. I take the bait. Like, you can't fix a problem if you don't acknowledge it. My ending flaw a lot of times is I take the bait. When somebody says something rude to me, I'm on it. I say what I got to say. I go above and beyond. And then afterwards, I'll be like, that didn't even really bother me. It's just the principle. Like, you thought you could speak to me that way or say that thing to me or be rude to me, and you can't. And I'll respond to them and just keep going. Like, I have to beat them to a pulp to feel better. And I'm like, Sharion, you can't respond to this stuff. You have too much going on. You got to focus all your energy on you, because at the end of the day, it doesn't help me at all. Like, it doesn't advance me in any way. And then, of course, after I've tangled with some of these derangers, I'm tired afterwards. I'm not young like I used to be. I got to pumice my feet. I'm just like, ooh, they don't wear me out today. It just doesn't benefit you to project out. Even when you have the right, like the principle is on your side. Is the effort even worth it? Are they worth it? No, they're almost never worth it. Never take the bait. Me to me today. So, and genuinely, a lot of where that derives from is people don't like to see happy people when they themselves are not happy. Because again, emotions are contagious. Happy people beget happy people. They like to be around other happy people. They want to keep the vibes going. The same is true for misery. A lot of those people just want a partner. They don't want you to bring them out of their misery. They want you to join them. Come on over here, sit on my couch and complain with me, girl. I told y'all, I had a person I love very, very much. And I had to be like, okay, listen, every time I call you, you complain about the same problem every day, but you never talk about what you've done to fix it. And when I suggest anything, you get mad and defensive. You're fighting really hard to maintain your misery. Like, you're fighting harder to keep the misery than you are to resolve it. I don't think the problem is the misery. I think it's you. I had to like really say that to somebody, because I'm like, you're fighting really hard to maintain victimhood. And some people are afraid of who they are once they're no longer seen as a victim. When they don't play that role anymore, they haven't invested into creating a person outside of that. That was who they were. So once the victimhood is gone, they're like, shit, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to identify myself. So people will hold on to it with a vengeance. And you just have to let them have that. Let them float away on that little victimhood life raft. Hi, TMCD. TMCD says, did you all notice that Duchess Meghan also interacted with the crew? Yes. Everybody was well fed, taken care of, considered. She was joking with them and having fun. It looked like a little party. It looked like if I had to get up every day and go to work, that's what I wish it would look like. That's like the ideal work environment. By yours truly, Meghan. I just said a word there. An ideal work environment by Meghan. See how she treats people who work for and with her? The proof is in the pudding. Hi, Karen Warner. Karen Warner says, Princess Meghan Sussex is comfortable with herself and who she is. That is why she doesn't have to copy anyone. She likes making mistakes because she learns from it. It's called growth. When you embrace yourself, you embrace all facets. The part of you that's not perfect at things, the part of you that's a beginner at things. When you are kind to yourself, you walk with yourself through those phases with kindness and patience. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. And one of my therapists one time, years ago, she said that I take care of people around me. Like, if somebody's having a bad day, I will give them the last cell of happiness in my body if I thought it would make them feel better. She was talking about how unhealthy that was, because I don't really operate with a lot of balance. I didn't then, I do now. But I'm kind of, at that time, I was like all or nothing, 100% or zero. And so I would give and give and give and give and give, but I would often feel depleted and dismissed and mistreated and not in a healthy way. And I remember her saying, I want you to see yourself as your own best friend, because you take care of the people you love. The fact that you don't take care of yourself makes me concerned. And I had to really sit with that. And I had to build a relationship with myself where I took care of myself. And it's funny, we're on this topic, but Meghan actually kind of touched on this when they were talking about the skincare routine of literally being in the moment and creating a ritual out of, I'm actually taking care of my skin. I'm taking care of myself. I'm nurturing myself. I'm spending this time with me. I had to go through some trials and tribulations to get to that point. And now, okay, nobody separate me from me. I love me some me. But because of that, my boundaries got better. My self-respect got better. My self-worth improved. And I could see myself fully for who I really was. I wasn't seeing this minimized person I put in my mind because I was elevating everybody else over me. And so I say that to say, when you get to that point in your life where you really do walk with yourself through life with patience and kindness and love, the way you talk to yourself and handle yourself is so different. Like the patience I have with myself when I make a mistake. Like it used to be like I would really beat myself up. Like, and honestly, that doesn't come from nowhere. That's kind of what I grew up. If you make a mistake, you get screamed at, you get yelled at. Who spilled the milk? Blah, blah, blah. Like, oh my God. Like one time I tried to make one of my parents breakfast in bed and the eggs was overcooked. And boy, I got screamed. I was like 9. And I was just so hard on myself. I did not cook again for years. And finally, my grandmama was like, we're going to fry some chicken. You like chicken too much to not know how to fry it yourself. She was tired of me getting her off the couch. Because I was like, can I have some chicken? And so she had to teach me to fry chicken. And that was the reason I got back in the kitchen. But I stopped cooking for years. Like I wouldn't even make a bowl of cereal because I was so scared of making a mistake. And those habits die hard. And sometimes they don't die at all until they're pointed out to us. So my therapist pointed it out and was like, you take care of the people you love. So take that as a sign when you don't take care of yourself. And honestly, patience is truly love in action. Patience is a form of love. Patience requires a lot from people sometimes. And when people are patient with you and gentle with you, that's because they care. So why not be that to yourself? So I had to learn that as well. And now mistakes don't feel like a mountain. Because I used to be scared as hell to make a mistake. Like now y'all see me, I say a word wrong and be like, oh, I'll try it again on the back end. It's just not that deep. We're going for, what did Meghan say? We're not looking for perfection. It's just not possible. It's joyful, not perfection. And because perfection is unachievable. So you're on a losing battle anyway. Who would sign up for that? Perfection is not possible. Enjoy the process, all of it, the mistakes, the growth. Karen Warner, you are absolutely right. You've been writing a lot of sermons in this comment section. I need you to get a Google Doc and start writing some of this down and get you a YouTube channel, start preaching, because I absolutely would subscribe. I will be your first subscriber every morning trying to get my sermons because you are preaching in this comment section today. You absolutely have to be patient with yourself through mistakes and grow through that, because honestly, you learn more from mistakes than you do from getting things right. Some of the things that have stuck with me for years have been things that I did wrong the first time. And I hate getting things wrong. I remember that feeling. So it encouraged me to learn the right way to do it. But you can't be afraid of making mistakes. That's how you try new things. I also like the moment where Meghan said, she likes to play with recipes and just try new things. Yes, stick to the recipe to learn how to make the dish. But then once she knows how to make it, she likes to try new things and zhuzh it up. That's a great way to make everything your own. Not even just food, but like style. And that came in play in her style. She talked about wearing high-low. She shouted out Jenny Kane, which is one of my favorites. Jenny Kane has some of the best loungewear. Jenny Kane has this oversized sweater satin skirt combo that is one of my favorites when I want to chill, but I want to look cute, or if like I'm expecting somebody, but I want to be comfortable, I'll throw that little set on. And she has it in every color, but I could only get one set at the time. But Jenny Kane has a lot of really cute stuff. But she talked about wearing the Jenny Kane sweater, the Laura Piana shirt, and the top, and the Zara pants. That's how, when you have style, you don't have to go for labels. You go for the look because you're creating the look. And she kind of applies that same logic of like, once I have my base, I get to have fun with the accessories and I get to dress it up however I want to. She applies that to food as well. I thought that was really interesting. Another thing I noticed about Meghan, is it 1 Corinthians 14:40? Do all things decently and in order. I picked up on that right away. Her process and her method for doing tasks even if the task is different, her method is the same, where she makes sure her section stays tidy. She does all things in the right order, in the right way. She takes the time to do things meticulously. And that's why the things that she does with intention turn out the way they turn out. She hasn't had a miss yet. She does all things decently and in order. I absolutely picked up on that right away. She does not cut corners. I noticed that right away. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm seeing some of these comments. Sorry, you guys, I missed some comments. The thing was moving so fast. So let me come back up here. Oh, wow. Hi, Benjamin Padilla. It's good to see you. Benjamin says, Sharion, I remember you shared an experience of a wedding of friends. I think you were a bridesmaid, found out they weren't your friends, and you went with gifts. Oh, yes. Yes. I didn't even know I shared that. See, that's why I get on here and get to talking and telling all my business. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I went up there with gifts. I mean, gifts. I had to have a conversation with my husband because of what I spent. He was just like, I know you want to do a good job, but maybe spread it out a little because this is a lot. He's so cool about it, but he was just like, oh, wow, you really had a good time at Neiman's. Okay. Well, whenever he take that little breath and he's like, okay, back to the drawing board. I know that's kind of my hint, like, okay, girl. Now, is the strip even still on the card or not? Because sometimes I've seen it go up in flames. But no, I went with gifts and everything and found out they were calling me fat. And I tell you what, it stuck with me. It stuck with me. And I'm glad that you got something out of that because I haven't thought about that in years. But I tell you what, that was a pretty low point. And then my cousin died right after that. It was just like a month of just like beating me down in the street. I tell you what, but we all have those moments. We all have those moments where everything come at us. We just get through it and keep pushing. Hi, Heather Gillespie. Heather says, it was lovely to see Meghan's intentions for her gifts. I mean, she thought of everything from the paper to the bow, like every part of it. I also really like the little gift bags with the gardening stuff. That was such an original idea. I would have never thought about something like that. I just throw some candy in a bag and keep it going. But I love that. Oh, and the story she told about when she sends kids home, if you send kids home with candy, the parents will call and be like, why? Yes, no, that happened to my sister one time. My nephew, he is a very energetic child. He is me made over. He is my baby boy. He is just like me when I was his age. Good and bad. I was kind of a bad kid. But he was very energetic. And so my sister was cutting him off sugar. And I don't remember where he went, but he came home and he went straight to his room. And she was like, well, did you have fun? And he was like, yeah, I had a good time. I'm going to go play Roblox. And she was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, cool. Glad you had fun. And then something told her to go check. I think it was like 2 or 3 days where he was just like, and she went and checked his room. Why did he have a little gift bag filled with candy? And she said the gift bag was the size of a Halloween pumpkin. She was like, it was big of candy. And she said, and here's the problem. I could tell by the wrappers how much candy was supposed to be in there because he didn't think to throw the wrappers away. He's not a good criminal. But he didn't throw the wrappers away. And the bag was filled with candy and he was all the way at the bottom. I said, he might really be my son because see, we see each other. He looks just like me too. If you've ever seen my Instagram, you've seen my nephew. He looks just like me and acts like me too. Oh, yeah. Benjamin Padilla says people can be trifling, but everything serves as an experience if you're ready to learn from it. There's always something to learn. Even when those lessons knock us upside the head, there's something to learn. And I feel like this show is a really great example of what happens when you no longer let those things, or not even no longer, when you choose to not let those things define you. You have to define you. I love when that message is reiterated to me. Like I said, I get stuck on things quick. I'll stay on something for a while when it irritates me. But that's not how I want to spend my life. Like, does that thing even deserve your time, your attention? Does it deserve to take up room in your space? No. More often than not, no. But that can be tough. That can be very difficult. Hi, Karen Warner. Karen says, Princess Meghan Sussex is packaging my all-time favorite thing, shortbread cookies. Mama mia, yummy. I also love crepes. Always keep trying to make it. Still yet to get it right. Always had it from men. Okay, I'm going to be honest with y'all because I can get on here and talk about everybody else. So let me be vulnerable and be honest about myself too. I cannot make biscuits from scratch, no matter how hard I try. And what's crazy is my grandmama she makes the best biscuits in the whole wide world. And she has tried to teach me. And I don't know what, it's just, I don't have the hands. You know, some people have a green thumb and some people don't. I don't have a biscuit thumb. I cannot make biscuits. Every single time, every single recipe, every single person who's ever tried to teach me, they always end up being like, well, you had all the elements. What went wrong? Like, and I don't know. I'm just not meant to make a biscuit, but I tell you who is, Pillsbury, and they make some great croissants that I like to put in the oven, but I cannot make a biscuit to save my life. Hopefully you fare better with your crepes than I do with my biscuits. Cause I mean, sometimes they be black. I make some of the ugliest little biscuits. And I remember one time I made some and my grandmama was like, well, sometimes things are ugly, but it tastes good. Which, first of all, why do you have to say it was ugly? But she's like, sometimes things are ugly, but it tastes good. And she took a bite and she's like, and sometimes it's just bad. And I think it was the first time she heard my feelings. I was like, grandmama. She's like, that's okay. You got other strengths. That's okay. That's all right. We'll keep it pushing. But I think my grandmama looked at me different ever since that day. Oh, yes. I love that quote too. I won't accept an invitation to the war you're having with yourself. I feel like if I had heard that quote way back when, it would have helped me prioritize who or properly categorize who I took advice from or who I took invitations from. Because there was once a time in my life, I would accept every invitation to an argument. If you invite me for a showdown, I'm showing up with bells on and spurs on my feet. Let's do it. Just be depleted of my energy. No time for my goals. Just you live and you learn. But you have to realize when some battle is truly not yours, all your battles are for the Lord. Bright Eyes PBJ, it's great to see you. Hi. Bright Eyes PBJ says, I was born in Southern California. I live in Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area. Come on down. I love my state. And our governor is, oh my gosh, why do I follow Gavin Newsom online? I want him to be my governor. I feel like Texas is in an abusive relationship with our governor and our president. Yeah, we just getting beat down, and our power grid. It's just, and we had a tornado last night. Like, help, send help. We've just been going through it. But yes, Gavin Newsom, he eats them up. I discovered him on TikTok. I was watching his debates, and I just absolutely fell in love with him. Now, I've heard he's got some interesting personal history, but that is not my business. He is such a good governor, and he is such a good politician. Some people just have it. Some people really do have it. And he likes to speak just not that jargon. He just speaks directly to the voters, directly to the people. He just gets it. I really like that. I think the first time I ever saw him, he was reading Beloved, and he had the color purple on his table. And I was like, now, wait a minute, who is this? What is going on? He was enjoying his Black History Month reading. I tell you what. Hi, Jackie Terrero. Jackie says, I love that they use surname Sussex. Sounds cool and it's fun. To Dirty Dads, Chuck and Tom. You know what? I love that Meghan spoke on that. And she did it in such a sweet way. Like, she could have been like, don't call me that. Like, she was like, it's funny you keep calling me Meghan Markle. My name is Sussex. I'm Sussex now. And she shares that. And she talked about the value of it. She shares that name with her children, and it represents their family. And also, it is her name. Like, even if she didn't care, it just is what it is. Like, that is her name. That is who she is. But to hear them people tell it, she ain't never heard of Sussex, don't know what a Sussex is. People are never going to be happy. They love with the take her titles away, blah, blah, blah. I love that she was just like, that is my name. And you know what? For a long time, that is something that I've been pretty intentional about. And I talked about, Harper's Bazaar, that they always make it a point to call her Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, or Duchess Meghan. They are always respectful to call her by her real name. But one of my moderators, Verta Sanchez, has always been very diligent about correcting people and reminding people of Meghan's name and what to actually call her instead of just Meghan Markle. And that's something I've seen go down in the comment section before. And I think that's good to remind people to try to practice the right way to say her name or the right name to call her. And if for no other reason, it's just a sign of respect to get it right. It's just a sign of respect. I struggled for months to call Eugenie, because I'm from Texas and we say Eugenie. It looks like Eugenie, so that's the default. Eugenie and Beatrice. And I have an aunt, Beatrice. And so it was really hard for me to call them Eugenie and Beatrice. It took a lot of practice, but you want to call people by their actual name. And I love how Mindy Kaling handled that. I have corrected people on my name and they take it personal. Like, sorry, my name isn't Sharon. I mean, what do you want me to do? Call me by my name. Shout out to Little Nas X. Like, call me by my name. Like, you can't just make up a new name. I'm just going to call you Sharon. Like, no. I used to work at this company called Andy Sprinkler. And one of the owners, this guy named Chris, he owned, I think it was Austin and San Antonio at the time. I don't know what he's doing now. But the first time I met him, he told someone else in the office, he was like, I'm not calling her that name, whatever that name is. What's her middle name? I was like, okay, if you want my attention, you'll call me that name because you sure don't have to speak to me. You ain't got to call my name at all. Good for me and you. Stay away from me. And then he claimed it was a joke, but that's a microaggression. You call people by the name they give you. And I love how Mindy was like, that's good to know. Thank you. Like, she handled it the right way. When you care about somebody, you make those corrections. But I'm Sharon to most people. And I, at this point, I'm just like, you know what? Why not? You tried your best. Autocorrect will see it. Will see to it that you don't call me my name. I understand the struggle. Jackie Terrero says, I love toast and avocado and the crepe with berries. Nice. Yes. Okay. I saw Meghan make the avocado and part of my petty side was like, Lord, please don't let her mention this avocado. Then people gonna have a heart attack. And then I said, well, actually, on second thought, the petty side jumped out. Because avocado, we have a sordid history with avocado in the UK. Apparently, Meghan was causing all kind of destructions for a little piece of toast. I tell you, she is powerful, isn't she? A piece of toast almost destroyed a whole rainforest. Look at our girl. You have to be real powerful. Not a what's this person called? A troll in the chat, y'all. Can somebody get this troll Alba out of the chat? Let me ban user and delete their comment. Goodbye, Alba. Go fishing for some attention elsewhere. Oh, how cute. Hi, Joan Commonwealth. It's good to see you. Joan says there's a TikToker who calls them Mama and Papa Sussex. And we love how she said, that is so cute. Let me know who that is so I can follow them. I'm still getting used to TikTok. I know. Thank you, TMCD. Alba, she is a princess. I mean, I don't know what people want her to do. She's a prince. This is the thing. When haters don't clearly define their intention, I'm like, we're at a standstill because genuinely, you just made up something to argue about. She is a prince. I can't change that. Now, if I think what they're struggling to say is, I don't want her to be a princess because I'm jealous. Or I don't want her to be a princess because I'm racist. I think that's what they're tripping over, and they don't make it all the way there because they're not that smart. So what they do is just say she's not a princess. They just cut it short. What I actually hear is, I don't want her to be because I'm jealous. I don't want her to be because I'm racist. I don't want her to be because I'm actually obsessed with Prince Harry. And why didn't he choose me? And boo, he didn't choose you because you wasn't going to get chose, whether Meghan was there or not. And your attitude is probably the first reason why Harry was not going to choose no hater on the internet being a troll. Sorry, we all destined for somebody. He just happened to be destined for her, and she happened to be destined for him. You can be mad about it all you want, but making up lies in the chat ain't gonna change anything. You just waste your own time and your own little thumb power typing out the message. I'm just gonna delete anyway. So thank you, illiterate fool. You just have to let them be miserable. We're gonna let them be. I blocked them. Don't worry about it. They're gonna let them be miserable. Hi, Jackie Terrero. Jackie Terrero says, I love the pretty picnic platter with Delphina. That was a beautiful picnic. All the food looked good. And the thing is, like I said, I like to eat some of the same foods over and over and over. So I never really know if those things would look appealing to me because I kind of keep it simple. Everything in this show looked like I wanted to try it. And that's how I know she's a good cook, because it takes a lot for me. It takes a lot. And the thing is, I don't just eat the same type of food. It's just once I've chosen what kind of food I'm going to eat from a certain place, I don't pick anything else. I keep it simple. Now I'm excited to go out and try new things. And I'm excited to try some of these recipes. I'm definitely going to start with that one pot pasta. That looked amazing. So that is all I have for y'all today. We have tomorrow, we have to do a real recap where I'll go episode by episode. I think we're going to try to do the first 4 episodes tomorrow, recap them as segments, and really dig into each and every episode. So feel free to come back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central. We're going to have a live stream, but we're going to do the recap. This is the first time I've recapped the show live. I hope it goes well. I hope it goes okay. I've never recapped anything live, like in the live chat form, but we've been having such a good time in our live chats. So I think it would be fun to do it this way. But y'all let me know your thoughts in the comment section below or in the live chat. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. And if you have an Instagram, don't forget to go follow Meghan because she has a lot of stories up right now. I couldn't even keep up. As soon as I record one and post it, it's more. So I suggest go find her on Instagram. You will not be sorry. At Meghan. Couldn't be any more simpler. Meghan at Meghan. That's all I have. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.